And good evening. Welcome. We're coming to you live July 9th in the year 2018. So we are going to be covering a very specific headline today. YouTube debuts plan to promote and fund authoritative news. Give me a thumb up as far as solid audio and video. I have a couple of web pages open at the moment. We're going to cover a couple of different pieces of news. It also came across my radar that Facebook's going to be monetizing at some point. Obviously, there's competition amongst the social media platforms. So there's also news of Amazon Tube, possibly going to unleash something. So let me cover this information from Wired. And I'm going to do my best to not make this a 1 hour video cast. Just in and out. But we'll also cover some other things. And we'll also hear from the audience. What is the future of YouTube, right? Why do we stick around with all this corruption going on within this platform? So I want to thank those of you that do support this platform, despite the controversy, despite the censorship, despite the demonetization. First of all, very special thanks to those of you that have support, even those that have supported in spirit. A lot of traffic going on outside. Trying to get my focus here. Following a year in which YouTube has repeatedly promoted conspiracy theory videos during breaking news events like the shooting in Parkland, Florida, and in Las Vegas, on Monday, the company announced a slew of new features it hopes will help make news on the platform more reliable and less susceptible to manipulation. The company is also investing. Now, what is all this about? We don't know, but they're announcing $25 million in grants to news organizations looking to expand their video operations as part of a larger $300 million program sponsored by YouTube's sister company, Google. According to YouTube's executives, the goal is to identify authoritative news sources, bring those videos to the top of the user feeds, and support quality journalism with tools and funding that will help news organizations more effectively reach their audiences. Now, I've seen a lot of PR, a lot of us have, with regards to all they're doing to, quote, fight fake news. And I've been against the disinformation. I've spoken about it. That's out there, but it's been around for a number of years. It's very popular on Facebook. I've seen like experimental Facebook fake news in 2013. But when people are told it's just simply about politics and the election, and when articles are framed that way, a lot of people don't look at the real fake news that's genuinely out there because of defensiveness, and they make it about politics. So this is bigger. This is bigger than what a lot of people think. So that is their goal. They're spending $25 million for this. What a great use of money. You know, additional speculation. Is this being done to appease the advertisers? And you look at YouTube today, it's a massive industry, billion-dollar industry. It's not dying. There's more users than ever. What is it, 1.8 billion per month? I'd like to see some things improve on YouTube. I mean, obviously, I'm live streaming to you, and this quality wasn't there a year ago. So is that a plus or is that a negative? We have to look at things from a number of different perspectives, and also how YouTube can be used for something positive. Even when we find ourselves thrown under the bus, we have to keep re-strategizing as we exist on this platform. I've now been here 12 years. The future has been grim for a long, long time here on YouTube. Seen a lot of things that seem unfair. There's also a lot of complaining. So we still have a platform, and we should use it while it exists. So the link is down below. I'm not going to keep you all night. I'm going to get in the habit. I want to thank those of you that are tuning in, thumbing up, and also letting other people know about these videos, also subscribing. It's kind of an interesting situation doing this off the grid. Kind of a small little shelter type of a thing where people usually make videos in the city. It's kind of a new thing for me to be doing this on a more regular basis, to push myself to do this on a more regular basis, and to flip on the live stream when it's drive time, when it's that evening, when people are getting home. And so there's a number of different things I want to cover. I also want to stay away from the super politically charged nonsense because like attracts like. And this channel is not a channel that does 24/7 political debating over presidents and things of that nature. Even the stuff that I'm really generally concerned about, like where our country's going, as far as like a future clash between our nation and China, that's also a very sensitive topic. Who wants to hear about that every day? Especially when you have so many people that are fear mongering about that. So I am looking for other news and items that are relevant and positive developments that come around the road. I'm going to jump over here to this headline about Facebook. Is this their way of trying to hold on to their user base? Because it's said that the real product are the people that are using Facebook, the people with the Facebook accounts. Well, the real customers are the advertisers. And so with all these revelations that have come out about manipulation with the Facebook newsfeed, now they've live streaming a lot easier. I did a live stream today to also gauge my reach. Have a little fun on Facebook when I'm not on YouTube. Streaming live on Twitter is not something that I don't think that I've ever done that. But Facebook is courting creators with new monetization opportunities. But see, in here, we're dealing with the same type of scrutinization. I did watch a live stream today from video creators, and they talked about that at the moment, it's invite only for those that are able to start early and start monetizing their Facebook channel, Facebook page, profile. I'm not sure if it's video or ad only. Let's go back to this article. YouTube debuts plan to promote and fund authoritative news. Now, again, keep this in perspective, right? People may look at that and perceive that it means a certain thing, right? And they could be for this, they could be against this, and it could be something that turns around to bite them in the you-know-what, right? Especially for those that Alex Jones is like a convenient excuse for those people that want to have controls on free speech, which is why it's sad what he's done. Indigo Scout says the definition of fake news is quite narrow. They condemn conspiratorial thought, yet permit slander and libel. Love this, Alex. You're stirring the pot. Well, thanks for bringing me on point because, one of the earliest things they flagged as far as fake is 9/11 stuff. They started doing that a few years ago. Like before you had all these people freaking out about the things they've been freaking out about in the last few years in the controlled internet psyops. You had people that were starting to share things regarding 9/11 and those things were trending. And then people were like, oh my God, what's this taking place with 9/11 information trending? So what they've done, all these corporations have become bigger, billion-dollar companies. They're not going away. And they have more users than ever. People like myself that are old school, we worry about our content. We worry about our channel. There's a lot of content about these events, these things. It's strange. I want to believe that through my total sum of work that I can make enough to live beyond living here. I don't talk about it often, but I don't want to be living off the grid full time. I don't want it to be an awkward thing for me to be speaking into a microphone on a regular basis here or anywhere else. I'd like to be somewhere where I can do more videos showing you stuff off the grid, being outside, right? When you got people close in different directions, my voice travels. A car was stopping earlier. They may have been listening to the fact that I'm speaking about something in this particular shed. It's possible, right? So I just want to point that out there. It is peaceful, more peaceful than some areas. It's not without its noise and distractions. So I'm an example of someone that has built up something, subscriber base to a certain amount. I'd like to see the YouTube situation improve. Right? There's certain rule books or rules of thumb, healthy activities for your channel, or certain things not to do, of course. But like going live and things of that nature. Yet I see all the videos demonetized for at least a day, and then they remonetize it the day after. Now, I figure maybe the system is just, the artificial intelligence. It takes a few years for the AI system to realize I'm not putting out crazy content, right? Or promoting extremist theologies. In fact, we discuss certain things that are going on in the world that we're against. And other people have talked about this that are big time YouTubers with the YouTube algorithm and the censorship. So I'd like to see some sign of improvement in more than one way. And there are some signs of improvement. Like I said, the live stream is part of that. And as I keep going, right, as I keep doing these live streams, hopefully more people that vibe to this type of content that would encourage me to go deeper into certain schools of thought, trains of thought, a little bit of shout out to those of you that are going to join the future live streams that are just now subscribing to this channel. Stick around. But there are some consistent themes that we discuss. And right now, unique thought that's been wholesale labeled controversial, which includes spiritual content, mind you, right? I look in the category like entertainment, news, and politics people. It's like certain things and even words, even if you're critical of certain things, can end up with a video flagged. I did realize that it's more important to make videos on a regular basis than put much work into post-production. Things are getting so crazy on YouTube, it's not really worth the time for post-production. I think ultimately people are looking for people that care, that understand. Also, real talk that the world is ready for. And to be able to live outside of this mentality of, it's just like that motto that American Freedom Radio was using, at least for a while. No fear of doom. There are things to talk about. We're not promising any I'm not promising any gold at the end of the yellow brick road or anything like that, or any collective shift in consciousness. And I do know that those things are possible. Somebody sent me a video of people in the late 1970s, and I'm going to watch that later. Yeah, but I'd like to believe that YouTube's going to fix its problems, and that the modern politics and witch hunts isn't going to end up in something really, really bad, because their method of demonetization, their method of monitoring, when they manually review, sometimes the people do what they're supposed to do with regards to the YouTube terms of service. In many ways, YouTube allows its terms of service to be violated, and it's relative. It's like a judge being able to determine how they feel about the law. It like comes down to that particular person at YouTube. Let's bring it back to the story. That individual with their particular bias, whether or not they believe that that's a authoritative source. What does it mean to be an authoritative source? To be the Huffington Post, to get a certain amount of hits per month? What is it? By the way, I'm also noticing a rise of this CRTV, and I understand it may hit a nerve with certain people. Like, oh, we're covering stuff that's censored by YouTube. It's still part of that paradigm. It's playing on anger. So yes, there's been the rise of alternatives to YouTube and people doing their own platform. It's not necessarily gonna lead to a effective, positive change if people enjoy being fed information or propaganda that makes them angry, entertains them while making them angry and reinforcing their political worldviews. But it's not changing the world for the better. So there are all these different matrix realities, and it's going to get interesting as we move deeper into the future. And on the other end, certain people that are already in the industry of trying to sell marked up products, people that are involved in the world of clickbait, as they put the clamp down more, right? Instead of some people going in more truthful directions, they're going more in a clickbait direction or ways to earn money, fast money through some other means where they used to be making a healthy amount per month. And so, the demonetization doesn't necessarily get rid of the problem. It can actually lead someone to for the problem to get worse and to do it on another platform. YouTube is basically the only game in town, but it's not the only website on the internet to generate a buzz around controversy. So I'm certainly not going to go on for hours and hours on this topic. The truth is not on their side. One advantage of the internet is that the powers that be can't suppress information contrary to their interests. And that's why. And that's why there's a lot of disinformation now that we have to sift through. In the future, I said this a few years ago, a lot of people are going to be really concerned about, how things got so bad geopolitically. They'll want to know the history of our nation. They'll want to hear different perspectives other than the people they're coming around. They're going to be running away from people like Alex Jones. They're also going to be running away from the controlled left. They're going to be looking for some organic individual thought. And then they're going to be run into a wall of a lot of disinformation, fake news about China invading. And it's like Steve Quayle material from 2000. So I've referenced that a lot. He's not the only one. There's a lot of people like that have been doing that strange fake invasion stuff for years. So the disinformation is out there. So when people really start looking, because we are heading towards something, they're going to have to go through all of this stuff, blogs from whatdoesitmean.com, Source of Fall. And a lot of people don't have the patience for that. They look at that, the type of stuff that's mixed in with the articles to convince the global masses. And they're like, yeah, and that's also the same mentality that the controlled media is coming from. Like if someone was to look at my channel, I appreciate those of you that are out there, even if you're not here for the live stream, for appreciating my individual thought. I think, though, the general society, whether it's someone driving by hearing what I'm saying or someone that knows that I have a YouTube channel in public, I think that they think it's freakish. And what this is something special. And I can still center on that. What YouTube's done. The fact that we have this technology that our ancestors did not have. So there's a positive side of it, the internet connection, and then there's this other side of it. YouTube is a smorgasbord. There's plenty of junk, but there's also great stuff such as your material. Thank you. And there's great stuff that I find from others all the time. I don't have anyone necessarily there's a couple of people I put up on the front page of my channel. Hearing Rachel at Ultrahuman talk about de-stressing in the modern world while she deals with having a couple of kids, I can get something from that material. Hearing unique content from The Spark, right? Even if the material's not neither of their channels are monetized. And for years, I used YouTube as my first, after Google Video, before I had a monetized channel. I just want to throw this out. I've said it before. It was easier for a guy like me to just go along with the mainstream society. People were a little bit less biased against it. Was it 2009 or so that I stopped working at Ruth Chris Steakhouse? But up until that point, it was alternative media on Thursday, as far as doing my show Outside the Box on cable access TV. And then I was bussing tables throughout the week, and it worked out. And it can still work out really well. For someone to have a YouTube channel, to maintain it at least with daily videos, to have somewhat of a healthy ranking, somebody doesn't need to do daily videos, but to also coexist in a regular society. I see some of the positive changes to YouTube, right? Sometimes I wish I can be part of those positive changes or some of those groups, but I know the content is considered controversial that I share. People are going to come, they're going to land at the homepage. People are going to come and drop in and drop out as they see fit. If the content seems relevant, the subscriber base seems to be holding strong. But over this period of 12 years, it's been nothing but constant growth. There's just been disappointment with the algorithm. It's like, hey, yeah, great, 15,000 subscribers now. But see the constant on the edge, the fear, wondering how long we have left, seeing the injustices that YouTube has involved itself in, allowing some extremist content to flourish while punishing totally innocent people. That causes someone to look, because we don't always want to look at everything from a conspiracy perspective, like the man's keeping us down. Uncontrolled negative thinking can create a negative outcome. We want to be positive, but we don't want to be manic positive if they've done something deliberately to keep the smaller channels down. And I've been preaching this. I've been preaching this word. I've been preaching this, trying to help people understand and see the light. Whether for or against the current president, this cuts deeper than that. This cuts deeper than that. They can make it about that and say in their articles, because of the election, right? But there are people that have been affected that don't even talk about politics. People need to get a grip on this. Okay. And if you have people that aren't even like promoting extremist stuff and their stuff's still being flagged because they're talking about stuff, then maybe the agenda there, and I hope it's not YouTube. I want you to be better, YouTube. I feel like making a special video for just the comment moderators or the people that check these videos to see if they're advertiser friendly. There needs to be like a terms of service of like, the type of allowance of free thought that they allow, but just anything that's perceived to be too controversial. And so in the end, it seems like society, well, we don't want YouTube to turn out like society. If YouTube turned out like society, then the really genuine free thinking stuff will really be pushed to the bottom. Have you guys noticed that though lately? That with a lot of the really genuine deep thoughts that you're getting from YouTubers, it's the smaller YouTubers. It's the one with only a few thousand subscribers or a few hundred subscribers. Some of these people that are up in some of these levels, 50,000, 100,000, there's the trap of getting too big or too popular. And I've said in recent years, especially with all these, fights going on over politics and whatnot, and just, I'm glad I never got too big or too involved with certain people in the alternative media. And that's its own video and channel or topic, right? Why I stick to myself. There's still reminiscing for like a parallel earth reality to where we work together as a team of journalists. The world isn't perfect. We're not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. I certainly have had emotions, right? So if we could just be like perfect little robots, maybe we can all work together and develop our own alternative to YouTube. Yay! But it's like, that's like the thing made of fairy tales. It doesn't work out that way. I was ranting earlier about another county in Colorado where the people didn't come together to make a change when they could. We could see a parallel with a YouTube apocalypse. I know. Sit down a meeting with the advertiser, especially those people that want to brag about knowing people at Google, and actually put their money where their mouth is. And that would be an awesome thing to be a part of. I don't want to kick a dead horse. We'll talk about the past. I knew one guy that was a millionaire in Texas, and he wanted to start his own network, but it was all about making money real quick. It was about multi-level marketing. And we parted and went our separate ways because I couldn't bring myself to promote his MLM thing, and it never even went off the ground. He couldn't even finish the package. But it's like, there are people out there with the resources. We can already be on a different platform. I should probably take off and come back with something else to get into. But YouTube is expanding a feature currently available in 17 countries. I'm reading from Wired. Left the link down below. It shows up on the homepage during breaking news events. This section of the homepage will only surface videos from sources YouTube considers authoritative. Again, I want to be more positive. I want to be a more positive Alex than a conspiratorial Alex. We have this live stream. All the live streams have been demonetized. Okay, that's not a positive. Some of the views got some of the videos got some decent views where I was covering the fire. But that was from organic search results, people actually looking for information about the spring fire. So that's cool to see how we can affect our reality by providing people with up-to-date information and using our intuition. I haven't really talked about this too much. We're using our intuition with the type of topics that we bring to YouTube. That's rad. That's rad, where we share from the heart, and there are people that'll start like talking about it at once. Like YouTube will find a video relevant 4 years later. Good men leaving mainstream society. Alex Ansary. The robot artificial intelligence is telling a certain amount of men that are looking at this type of topic or this type of a theme, and who knows, maybe it's picking up on actual language, things I'm actually saying in the video. And somehow or another, even though it's one big giant conspiracy and the man's keeping us under, someone's randomly finding a video that can help set them free. And so if we're not really doing this for money, but we're actually trying to help people, for me, it is about trying to help other people. Other people have helped me, and information we found on YouTube saying it's free from the matrix. Then it's a good thing. Somebody actually said something as far as he was watching David Icke and they thought of me, hasn't been on my channel in a while, went to my channel, and he was on the live stream. I've had other things happen that were mystical like that with cable access TV. One time I was telling people to wake up, some sort of a rant involving me yelling, wake up. And someone woke up with me on cable access TV. He was some dude asleep on the couch, woke up. You see, and things like that, right? Oh, it can get weird. It can get creepy. But ultimately, like the other night, it can be a really positive thing. A live stream can be a really positive thing. The interaction with the audience can be a really positive thing. And so through that, I'm thinking about the healing elements of the live stream. Instead of get us all worked up about something really chaotic, what else can be done that hasn't been done before? Just the few of us, just the two of us. Glad to see 7 people on the live stream tonight. I hope you had a good day at work. How was it? Was everything okay? Did your boss try to start a fight with you? Because that's messed up. That's some Archon messed up stuff. when you got your boss trying to start a fight with you? I'm sure everybody's got a story. Actually, Travis was making some sort of a mention that back in Denver, his boss was trying to get physical. Sometimes I notice strange phenomenon with people that are on the spiritual path. Somebody else will come up just where I push them. YouTube is this corporate entity. There are many different people on YouTube that work at YouTube. It's not one, it may not be one centralized conspiracy theory, you see. There could be people with different political ideologies that hold positions at YouTube at different times. They could be different ethnicities. They could be different genders. They can have different political biases that may be engineers and people working at YouTube. And I think people have taken this way too far, thinking that is just swinging straight right wings, swinging straight left, because I hear both people say that about YouTube's politics. But at the end of the day, I know politics, or I know YouTube promoted some pretty extreme stuff. There's no way they just looked the other way. And there's no way our government looked the other way when Facebook became manipulated Archon and version of reality book. Okay, some comments. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that's here tonight. I appreciate the fact that we have enough electricity to continue this. Great day today from Catskill, New York. So we've had a couple people from New York. Colorado Springs. There was actually some sort of a headline saying that Colorado Springs has become like the new Chicago with the shootings taking place over there. And you know what? I was like, what? Then I watched a couple of documentaries about Sons of Silence, a group out of Colorado Springs that's elsewhere in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado Springs is a military town. There are people that are going to be the modern day Hells Angels. And there's something about the Springs in Denver because of that military vibe. Well, there's a reason why Joel Skousen doesn't even recommend Colorado to begin with. He wrote Strategic Relocation. And I understand that. I've always been kind of like, well, despite that, Colorado's still a great place. You come across some mean dudes. I'm not necessarily saying get into fights. You come across some rough energy. And that's all I'm saying. Those of you on the West Coast, those of you on the East Coast, you're around city folks. You're around more people like me, wear shirts like me. I'm starting to get inspired, folks. I'm starting to think maybe I need to go back to the city. That's why I throw it out there once in a while. I'm willing to do some other work. I want to keep doing YouTube on a daily basis. I don't want to worry about the money. I want to love this. I want to love coming to a live stream like this and talking with you. I want to take this live stream on the road. Shout out to AH. May we have good power for the rest of the, let's see how much, we're good. We're good. I want to take the show on the road. I want to earn enough to do a live stream from a coffee house. I want to bring things to you on a live stream other than me being a shed. Maybe a concert, maybe a protest, maybe I can go out and do some reporting. The whole YouTube thing is a whole new thing, folks. And I'm just telling you, it's also a whole new thing for me to do it while off the grid and being one of the few that's doing it off the grid. A lot of the core content that I talk about could be easily flagged and put it as controversial. I've been brainstorming the last few years. I can also see as some things like MG2AW can be a box. That's a very flagged topic. What about talking about things without talking about it in the same way? Not using the same words. But also, right, is it a good, healthy challenge for us to maintain integrity? I mean, we can't say that we haven't come across other people that have deliberately abused the YouTube system. So if the idea, and if it takes them a year to work it out, fine, work it out. Now, here we are a year later, right? What Alex Ansary is trying to figure out, while being marginalized as this controversial as it is, which YouTube says it wants to get away from, I want to use that law of attraction to grow. I mentioned earlier in another video, a part of that is to stay conscious with what is the real zeitgeist with regards to whether we're talking about unplugging from the matrix, spiritual protection. We do a live stream. It's tapping into a zeitgeist. I'm hearing from you in lifetime about things going on with your dreams, things going on with your community. Let's say we were talking about a breaking news headline. For example, fires really are breaking out in different parts of the country. Hearing from different people what's going on in their neck of the woods. What about a major natural disaster? And they say the revolution will not be televised, but I think that a lot of natural disasters will as we go through this. That's what's unique about this reality that previous civilizations didn't have, and societies and periods in our own life. For there to be that much streaming of an event like Hurricane Irma or another disaster, or for something to happen and someone could like literally set up a live stream where they live and be able to watch it without actually even being there. And that also includes having security for your home, setting up hidden cameras, things of that nature, going on a trip and monitoring your home without even being there. I mean, these are new elements of technology. Much respect to all here, says Dave. It's definitely like a mellow night or a couple days after the full moon. Things were more intense right before the 4th of July. I mentioned earlier that there was fighting in Portland. Then you'll notice now there's no fighting. And oftentimes you see like these types of upheavals. Charlottesville, for example, Mr. Spencer and his rallies, whether they know it or not, it's almost as if they're responding to these magnetic changes. And there's just an element of, and there's other moments to where it seems that people are vibing to a similar thought. Mentioning Art Bell Coast to Coast earlier, right? A lot of interesting shows. My grandmother listened to Art Bell, so Art Bell was an early introduction for me to talk radio. He said, though, in his interview with Bruce Lipton, which is a good one, that he was scared by the results that he saw from the audience putting their mind together. And I wonder why someone would be afraid if we were to put our mind together and do something positive. I don't know what would be like a reasonable experiment. I don't know if anybody suggested something simple, something that's reasonable for us to attain with putting our mind to a particular something. I'm not trying to go like way sci-fi here, folks, right? But our thoughts do impact reality. I think that they're end up manifesting that. I didn't say all the time, but I've certainly seen it. Somebody asked, and I can't explain or prove. It's a good question. One people have asked for thousands of years. How do you prove God exists? Here's what I know. I know there's been multiple times in my life where it seems that something was intervening the situation that could have been bad. And it's through a lot of those experiences, pinch oneself experience. It's also known as a God shot. That through the actual experience of experiencing something that one comes to know God or believe in God and go, wow, somebody's watching my back. Anyone ever seen the movie Dread, where people live in city blocks? No, I haven't. I'm going to have to check that movie out. Somebody asked me earlier about other dystopian movies. So yeah, our main theme here is, and I do come back to it, right? I do want to stay somewhat consistent with the titles, but I also want to be flexible enough to hear out with the audience, talk about some other things. YouTube says it has a plan to stem the flow of misinformation. This is from CNN. So again, and I shared with you recently that I shared with some people in this local town that I had a YouTube channel. It's not normal for people to know someone who makes a few dollars on YouTube. Like that may be really normal for you to know me and to know others and to maybe have made a few dollars yourself. Regular society, folks, thinks that's weird. What's that, like playing video? Like, you know, we've all heard the stereotypes, but it's like a stereotype, like a Cheeto eating gamer or something like that. It's not so great, which is awkward because I'm not a big fan of gaming. And gaming, violent games aren't considered all that controversial. Gaming is like preferred YouTube content. Sometimes YouTube, love you, YouTube, right? Trying to be positive tonight, have this union with you as we work out this. I may not be authoritative, right? But you've brought in your conspiratorial, controversial box a bit wide, haven't you? And again, hasn't YouTube violated its own terms of service by allowing certain things? So isn't there an issue of selective enforcement? So let's go and take a look at this article from CNN. The problem crops up almost every time there's a big breaking news story. People post videos full of misinformation on YouTube. Whether it's fake news makers are trying to spread propaganda or just a quick buck, the effects are the same. I should read this in a coming soon to a theater near you. The videos end up confusing users who just want accurate information. Okay, so it's all kind of just put in this just general category of all this YouTube disinformation, all these people that aren't the mainstream media. And then you have people arguing whether it's mostly the left or the right that's actually being held back. When it's in many cases both groups, and statements from the current president warning journalists about their statements and actions. That watch yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now YouTube says it's taking action against this kind of exploitation of breaking news situations. The average person, let's say somebody else, because this includes Facebook, let's say somebody else in another state, they're hearing Alex Ansary talk about this disinformation, demonizing particular groups on YouTube. And they're going, God, I haven't seen that stuff. All the people on my feed post happy pictures of puppy dogs and things of that nature. What I noticed early on was that those of us in the research community, right, were being targeted with deliberate fake news that had a conspiracy slant to it. It's like something straight out of the post-Obama, is it Cass Sunstein, who made the statement about putting disinformation on the internet to lead people astray. And I remember Clyde Lewis actually did a full show about that. Thought it was quite good. I think I was even participating with one of those shows where they talked about that, infiltrating protest groups. And we talked about stuff in Portland. And here we are in 2018. I think we saw like almost a sci-fi high-tech version of it. So someone like me, early on in 2015, I'm like, well, wait a minute. This disinformation that's on my feed on Facebook seems to be an algorithm. It knows that I, over the years, have been a contrarian. Oh, well, it's just New World Order stuff. Well, hey, we've got something for you guys. We've got something for you. Here's your New World Order. Here's your new group. Here's your 2 minutes of hate. Here's the people who are allowing it to happen. Yeah, but it's all her and it's all him. And this one's going to save you. Problem, reaction, solution. And it's like, I was also in shock that other people weren't noticing this. I'm like, wait a minute. You guys already heard that rap song from David Icke going problem, reaction, solution. Hell, even Alex Jones with 9/11 Road to Tyranny was like talking about this deception. Well, wait a minute. Even Jeff Rent's over here. And then you look in a matter of years, all of a sudden they're pushing this narrative, not Icke necessarily, but they're pushing a narrative at the same time. There's a time where the founder of Red Ice Creations offered to have me on his show. That was a different Henrik that actually saw something in old Alex Ansary. Hell, we're going all the way back now to 2007. And I was interviewing people on Oracle Broadcasting, and none of these like certain main focuses of their lives were not their main focuses of their lives. We were like brothers. There was a time where, Henrik Red Ice Creations, he had Fremont on at one point. Maybe he'd have Alex on, and we'll talk about my side of just looking at Portland, Oregon. At one point, I was trying to alert people, by the way, about Top Off 4, which some of you may have seen, Michael Chertoff visiting Top Off 4, and they prepped that city for a zombie outbreak. And I would warn people and talk about how I felt there was a dystopian movie type of reality waiting in the wings for Portland, Oregon. And it was too much for a lot of people to stomach. And I think right now it's actually playing out. It's certainly playing out as the city gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So yes, my viewers, thank you for tuning in and do our commentary about YouTube. And it may sound a little conspiratorial, it may sound like it's going off topic, but it's not off topic. It's on topic. It's on topic. I remember telling somebody that I worked with once, because the money on YouTube became so bad that I had to spend more time doing something else last year, but I was trying to explain YouTube and the censorship. And they looked at me like they didn't understand. It's like they're acting like they're fighting all this extreme content. You're like hearing all these articles about how they're like getting ready to like censor all these people. But I've actually seen these social media platforms promote the worst of the worst. Well, I can happen. And it's like, I've been through this experience so many times where I'm explaining this to somebody and they're like, what? But it's like, these are big time events, just like there was COINTELPRO, the 1970s, just like JFK, just like other historical events. YouTube becoming like a fundamental way that people get their information, even people that maybe never or barely are able to read a book. right? The now of a social media platform. And now they're researchers. Now they're involved in news and stuff. And it's like traditionally only so many people were like overtly into news and stuff. And even if someone started slowly, like, oh, I'm just going to get on this to play video games, but I'm just going to get on this for this. They also set up so someone could be custom tailored. You can be in the state of Colorado and get a higher percentage of the Sharia law invasion, mean paid for sponsored advertising. I'm waiting for 5 to like drop off the stream. Oh, one came on. Inside joke there. Sometimes we hit a button and people go, oh my God, I can't believe I heard that. There was a period in which that skyrocketed. And I noticed that it was skyrocketing at the same time, the same articles leading to the same websites. And then all that stuff came out about Cambridge Analytica, which included taking private messages. So I'm saying to you, like, this is as Orwellian as it gets, what we're dealing with. YouTube, gotta love it. Want to love it even more. Orwellian as hell. Orwellian as hell. But I've made this point also many, many times, right? Hasn't reality become Orwellian as hell, right? Where someone having a YouTube channel is considered to be an undesirable. You make only $100 a month living off the grid on YouTube. Wow, that sounds weird. That doesn't sound like you're living with less, making do, believing in yourself and your audience. You see, so sometimes people don't even realize what it is that we do here on YouTube, that we care about people, that there are positive ways we can make a difference through the independent citizen reporter, citizen journalist. Mike Bluehair may not be a friend of mine anymore. I still watch his videos. I watch Robert West in Portland. I keep up to date with all types of people. I may not talk to him. I was obviously sharing with you that I'm watching and I'm hoping for the best for another brother that's in another county in Colorado. That when he has his day in court, that justice is served or people come to his aid. And I've said that multiple times. So it's like, and even behind the scenes, I'll think something positive about something, but we're not necessarily the community that I wish that we were. But that's a deeper subject. We're in a matrix, folks. You thought you came here to hear me whine about YouTube, but it was really just to get you in so I can talk about this matrix we're trying to evolve out of. See, it all comes back to the central theme here. And through these random themes, somebody may click on my video and go, oh, I was just hoping to hear about YouTube being the man and, keeping us down as we engage in this free live stream. As I whisper sweet nothings of escaping the matrix. And it's okay. You can take back your like. You don't have to like it. You can like it and then you can dislike it. You can dislike it, then you can like it. See, you have that freedom to do all types of crazy things with your like, dislike, log on, log off. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. Looking at our comment section here. It doesn't appear that we have any riots akin to what has taken place in Portland, right? Nobody's coming up going, what, BK 187 in a whoop whoop. No, we're not seeing anybody throw up any gang tats. It's a profoundly odd, polite display of a comment section. And we have 11 people watching at once. Alex always amazes me with his insights and perceptions. I'm always amazed by the comment section at times. Sharing something of insight themselves that can flow along with what we're talking about in this live cast. See, the title one day might be YouTube. The title next day might be something about China. The title the next day might be about something else. I'm definitely not keeping a long list of specific headlines. Okay. I'm looking to see if I actually have any other headlines that I have set aside to actually bring up. But the engagement level of YouTube has improved, as I said before, while the engagement element of Facebook, I'm not talking about politeness. People are mostly polite. I'm talking about limited reach, where somebody manually has to go to your page and click on your content to actually see what you've said. So what I did earlier today is I did a video on Facebook. And what will happen there is I'll be reaching a bunch of people that aren't even watching the YouTube channel or getting the YouTube updates. So if they were to monetize Facebook, perhaps I'll do more news over there. You see, and for me, I want to go deeper into doing daily YouTube videos or that becoming part of the Borg. The reason so many people get really addicted to this stuff. Like I was joking, I was saying, don't get high in your own supply. I still watch tons of YouTube in low quality 144. I have unlimited internet, but it's slow internet. It's just that I'm a little bit more selective with what I watch. You know, I had a fair amount of enjoyment listening to it. Was really a debate between Mike Bluehair and Pete Santilli. I don't think Mike Bluehair was necessarily defending Antifa. He was more or less making a point, by the way, that the Portland police played a role in amping up the tensions between the two groups through the managing of how they dealt with the tensions. You know, the Portland police firing beanbag rounds as the Proud Boys marched through their specific route. There are ways in which the police respond to that, which made the situation worse. Plus, they say it's non-lethal, but that's stuff that can obviously cause major damage, the shrapnel, things of that nature. You know, so with YouTube, it's like real life intelligence gathering. People are getting a real deep look at what's happening at these protests, for better or for worse, where they choose to use the information in a positive way or a negative way. It certainly gets creepy, especially when people get all pumped up about like traveling to like one particular city to actually have street fights, political street fights. Oh man. And that's monetized. Talk about Hunger Games. Oh yeah, bro. I made like $850 this month covering the fights in Portland. And there are people that literally like, that's their living. Like that's very Roman, don't you? I mean, that's good. They're covering the news and all that. If that's all they're covering and that's all they're doing is just showing up to the blood fight. Again, I'm going to think that they're infiltrating political groups so they can get their fight on. They can get their fight on. So I tell you what, I can't get away with that type of behavior. When doing half of that in other states and cities, something about certain places, they just kind of permit the madness. Then Portland is kind of a maddening place, you know, in of itself. So what a place for people, the Proud Boys, to literally travel into for their fight. A place where the homeless are literally running down the street, buck naked, screaming, with, in some cases, their testicles on fire. Just depends on how much Mad Dog 2020 they ingested. I'm just trying to enlighten. I'm just trying to enlighten people, right, to understand these bizarre vortices of human behavior on the globe today. People will look back on these podcasts in the future because I want to know what happened before the collapse. What were people talking about? What was this Alex Ansary doing all of his podcasts from some off-grid box, cardboard box somewhere? I think Freeman is famous for the last words he ever said about me publicly. What's Alex Ansary doing out in the wilderness somewhere? I think someone shared that commentary from the grapevine. And then I chuckle at that and also feel a little disappointed. Do I feel completely forgotten by all the main like speakers in the independent media? Oh yeah, long ago. Even for like an alternative media that's so like anti-system-ish, it sure seems like everybody's paying rent, living at somebody's house. I'm not trying to be like, you know, and I'm not all that. I'm saying, though, it just seems that the whole off-grid way of life with alternative media would kind of go together, especially if people are, you know, concerned about space wars, 5G, especially with like the anti-5G crowd. Well, at least get away from the 5G. You know, you want to get away from the mega 5G. Whoa, if you're concerned about it. And so sometimes people got to put their money where their mouth is and not just be conspiracy-tologists. I don't want to be mean with it, you know, like libtard, conspiratard, because I know what it's like to be marginalized as that. But you know what? What we've learned is that people that are really good at putting out propaganda have a whole pool of millions of people that are waiting to be told that they're victims in some other group they can easily put into a cage or bomb is their problem. And that's where we are right now. YouTube enabled that. YouTube and Facebook helped radicalize a whole segment of our country. Now they're acting like we're going to create some new rules to fix things. And some of those people. Will the left and the right ever come together and sing Kumbaya? If we can put aside our politics. If we can put aside our politics and some of these manufactured tensions and maybe wake from the spell. So I'm mixing different topics here, right? But it is this general theme of YouTube as we do this live stream on YouTube. And I'm doing this without a fan. It's warm, and I'm going anyways. Love Freeman. Gotta go. Keep rocking. 5G is a silent weapon system that is terminal to all life. It is. It is indeed. And it is like we're living. It is like something out of Terminator Genesis. The unleashing of Skynet is the 5G. It is the Facebook live stream. It is the YouTube live stream. As I literally into the board. No, I don't want to go that far. Live streams can be interesting. And I'm in my early stage of this current round of the YouTube live streams. And it's not easy. We have to go the distance, right? We have to deal with this discrimination against the small YouTuber as they want to be more authoritative, as every single one of these live streams is demonetized until the next day, of course. It's like a little practical joke on Alex Ansary. So, folks, I appreciate your support. I appreciate when you go to alexansary.tv. If it ever comes to mind, right? If you want to donate $5 a month, a couple of you are doing that at the website. We have a little PayPal there. There's also information at youtube.com/AlexAnsary. A couple channels I'm recommending you subscribe to. One's The Spark. One is Ultra Human. Show them some love. There's a newsletter over at alexansary.tv. Sign up for that. I'm going to start using that more. I want to hit at least 100 people on my newsletter. Folks, I got 15,000 subscribers. Sign up to the newsletter at alexansary.tv. We'll get in the habit of bringing you videos directly to your email. We'll see you in the next video.